What's up, guys? My name is John. Welcome, Daily Theologians. I want to talk a little bit about money in this video, so stay tuned because Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus have a new book coming out, aka The Minimalists. Many of you probably know them, and they've risen to fame of sorts for their podcast, for their straightforward way, for their compassion, the way they communicate with people. And many of their books have very common, practical, helpful things, including not pursuing more things just for the sake of things. So there are some components of their philosophies that I think are very helpful because they see materialism for what it is. Let me show you the preview for the book, and then I want to give you a couple of my thoughts as to what I think about potentially reading this book.
Howdy everyone, it's the Minimalists.
In our brand new book, it's called Love People, Use Things. We talk about how to understand and heal the 7 essential relationships in your life.
Relationship number 4. It might be the best place to start to help you get to really know who you are as a person, to get to know yourself. That's our relationship with our values.
Your values are really how you determine the person you want to be. It's no wonder so many of us are so discontented. We're living lives that don't align with ourselves, with the person we hope to be. And it's making us miserable. Well, the only way to change that is to understand what your values are. In our new book, Love People, Use Things, we talk about the 4 different types of values, understanding those values so we can align our actions today with the person we want to be in the future.
So, the book review was actually kind of hard to find information. It comes out on July 13th, so keep your eyes peeled if you want to read it. But let me tell you some of the core topics here that it's going to cover. So Less is Now is their documentary, and there are 7 topics in this book, 7 essential relationships: stuff, truth, self, money, values, creativity, and people. And they use their own experiences to then determine their journey and make some potential recommendations for you, what Joshua Fields Milburn would call recipes, or Nicodemus would use recipes. And the issue here, okay, there's one big glaring issue. Now, let me give some positives. Number 1, I think some of these things are very helpful to clarify. And from a biblical perspective, this is very important. We want to understand these different issues. But the one they're missing is your relationship with God, because they negate God, because Joshua is a nihilist. And he said this in podcasts. You'll have to go back and listen carefully, but I've listened to him say this several times. But I appreciate their approach to money and consumerism and the valuing, your goals and things like that. But the problem is they start with a nihilistic, atheistic, agnostic, at least, position that you can't know truth. And then they're going to give you advice on values and truth, informing your values and truth, as if they're arbitrary, just kind of pick whichever way you want to go. Well, that is a very dangerous message because it's not in line with reality. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And without a correct relationship with him, no matter how comfortable you are, no matter how content you are, no matter how confident you are, you will be under his judgment, sadly, for all of eternity. This is a hard message, but it's the problem with a book like this, trying to determine values and truth and these things, apart from a biblical worldview, is a losing bargain. Now, I'm grateful for these guys, and I think you'll gain some practical wisdom from this book, but I also caution you against having children listen to them, because I think the ultimate outcome of a nihilistic worldview is depression, which can lead to things like suicide. I think it's very serious because, rightly said, he's a nihilist and there's no meaning to life, there's no purpose to life, and yet here they are giving you a recipe. And they'll say, well, we don't really care if you follow the recipe, but then you obviously do. You obviously know that you're trying to help people. So there's a bit of contradiction in the minimalist camp, in my opinion, but I'm still grateful for them. Very kind guys, but I think very way off in their understanding of reality and their understanding of relationships, because Jesus Christ is the ultimate relationship that you need. You need to be made right with God through faith in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and that only comes through faith, repenting and believing in his death, burial, and resurrection in your place. I hope this helps. I hope you keep your eye out for the book. I'm sure it will be helpful in some areas, but dangerous in others. Thanks for watching. Please take a moment and hammer that like button, like the 95. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and God bless.